Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you, Ranking Member Mr. Lynch, for your not only fact-based willingness to look at the record, but also your willingness to work in a bipartisan manner to address this serious issue. From the surge of unaccompanied minors and family units from Central America coming across our border to the ongoing Syrian refugee crisis, as well as the fiancé visa that was erroneously issued to the San Bernardino terrorist Chasfin Malik, there seems to be no shortage of immigration issues that impact our national security. And so today's hearing takes a closer look at the national security implications at our nation's porous borders. Now, I want to emphasize that it is a national security interest that brings us here today. There is plenty of other rhetoric and discussion that can go on as it relates to immigration and immigration policy. But indeed, this is looking at not only immigration, but at border security and how it affects national security. It's been in the forefront of much of the political discussion in recent months. The Department of Homeland Security officials have often indicated to the American public that our borders are more secure today than it's ever been. I think many of us have heard that. They tout the low number of apprehensions as proof, which seems to be a little bit counterintuitive to me. In fact, the GAO, the Government Accountability Office, has indicated that the DHS has no official metrics in place to measure whether our border is secure or not. And so those statements are very difficult to comprehend if there are no metrics in place. Representatives from the Border Patrol tell us that the situation at the border is exactly the opposite of what the administration claims. Undoubtedly, the United States has a proud history of providing refuge to victims of persecution, and will continue to be unwavering in our commitment to be that beacon of freedom and hope for those facing persecution around the world. But when this administration fails to enforce our immigration laws or turn a blind eye to the rampant fraud and abuse while rubber stamping credible fear claims at a rate as high as 92%, the integrity of our system is undermined. Our generosity is taken advantage of, and our national security is at risk. We should seek to protect the integrity of our immigration system from fraudulent claims made by those seeking to do us harm or subvert our rule of law. Individuals who seek to defraud the asylum process make a mockery of those who are truly persecuted, for those who are fleeing for fear. The United States is one of the most generous nations in the world, and our asylum system is an extension of that generosity. And yet, various organizations are coaching people to claim credible fear in order to avoid deportation. By invoking the credible fear claim, most aliens enter into a process by which they await proceedings before the immigration judge, which at the very least buys them more time in the United States. It often takes years, multiple years, before those court dates take place. And in the meantime, the alien is allowed to obtain a work permit, go about their business in the United States, and indeed could embed in our communities. It seems to me that the word is out that claiming credible fear is the way to go. That the numbers sure say that much to me, and as we look at the credible fear claims that have grown exponentially in recent years, as Chairman DeSantis mentioned in his opening remarks, one of my biggest concerns is that nefarious actors have taken advantage of our generosity. Gang members, cartel operators, supporters of terrorist groups can game the system and make use of credible fear to remain here in the United States. Even according to DHS, aliens with known or claimed ties to cartels and terrorist groups have been apprehended along the border claiming credible fear. The data that this committee has received confirms that the Border Patrol is encountering migrants from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Lebanon, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, and Turkey. Now, this is coming across our southern border. And these are just the individuals that were apprehended. So what about all of those that were never seen by law enforcement at all and make it into the interior of our country? I hope to hear from our witnesses today on their assessment of the current holes that might enable these bad actors to take advantage of our system. Most importantly, I'd like to hear what should be done to address these deficiencies and help ensure the safety of the American public. Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask unanimous consent to enter the following documents into the record. One would be a U.S. Border Patrol nationwide apprehensions for 2015 and 16. The other is the USCIS credible fear nationality reports for fiscal year 2014, 2015, and 16, for quarter one of 16, and the USCIS credible fear data and affirmative asylum case data, and ask unanimous consent.
Without objection.